How did we get to the moon and back? The first moon landing is a story littered with big numbers. It took 8 years, 10 practice run missions, more than 400,000 engineers, scientists, and technicians, and in today's money, roughly £150 billion to make the first tentative steps on another planetary body. By pushing the limits of the most advanced technologies of the time, NASA achieved President John F. Kennedy's 1961 national goal of sending an American to the moon before the end of the decade. But how did the astronauts actually get there? 5 days before stepping on the moon, on the morning of the 16th of July 1969, Commander Neil Armstrong, Command Module pilot Michael Collins, and Lunar Module pilot Edwin Buzz Aldrin were still here on Earth. They were doing final checks inside the tiny Columbia Command Module. No roomier than the interior of a large car, Columbia would serve as their living quarters throughout the journey. This module sat at the very top of a 111-meter-tall Saturn V rocket. The most powerful rocket to ever fly, the Saturn V had 3 stages. Each stage would burn its engines until it was out of fuel and then separate from the rocket. The engines on the next stage would then fire, and the rocket would continue into space. At 9:32 a.m. local time, the first stage ignited and the rocket launched from Cape Kennedy. With the challenging task of lifting the heavy spacecraft off the ground, this stage was all about delivering power. It used a liquid hydrogen and oxygen mixture that was far from economical, getting through 18,000 kilograms of fuel per second. But it was effective, producing a force of 33 million Newton, 3.4 million kilograms of thrust, 7.5 million pounds force for about 2.5 minutes, and propelling the astronauts to an altitude of 68 kilometers. When the first stage separated, the second kicked in. This burned for 6 minutes, propelling the rocket to 175 kilometers altitude and accelerating it to close to orbital velocity. The final stage burned for just 2.5 minutes, sending the astronauts into Earth's orbit at a staggering 28,000 kilometers per hour.